Hello, John.
And
Hi.
Vesna and Juliana. Hi, Juliana. Hi. And let's see, other people. Looks like people I don't know that I know so much. Some of you I do, but yeah, good to be here with all of you. How are we started? Is Vesna or Ina gonna do a little introing, right? Is
Yes.
one of you?
Yes, we were just waiting a couple of more minutes for people to join because we're many and we're just accepting everyone in the room. So I think, Ina, we have all now, right? Or we're still waiting? Yeah. Okay. So good evening, everybody. My name is Vesna. And with me is also Ina, the two organizers of this year's IIT in Slovenia. And of course, we're accompanied by John Kinyon, who is one of the trainers at this year's IIT in Slovenia. I see some familiar faces like Nico, Marta, Matjaž, so I'm very happy that you joined us all today. It is the fifth session of Introduction to the Trainer that will be holding this year's IIT in Slovenia. So we're very grateful to you, John, that you took time and joined us for a 1 hour session to make a short introduction to your work and the work that you will also present at the IIT. So, as you probably know, this year's IIT in Slovenia will be held from the 16th October till the 25th of October in a beautiful surrounding of Pohorje, which is in the east part of Slovenia. It's surrounded by beautiful forests and nature. So beautiful opportunities to take your integration time during the free time within the IIT. And we will be joined. Oh, also, it is joined us. This is a surprise. We will, we will
What?
be joined by five amazing
Yeah.
trainers. Besides John and Iris, who is with us today as well. There will be Roxy Manning, Sudha Shankar, Roxy Manning from the States, Sudha Shankar from India, and Jürgen Ingels from Germany. So quite an international team of trainers. So we're all the organizers and the trainers. We're all really looking forward to hold this event. The main fil rouge or the topic of this year's IIT in Slovenia is social change. So many of the trainings during the IIT will will evolve around this topic. And going back to John, I met John some years ago, and I was quite amazed by the easiness and the ability how to conduct conflict management or mediation, and most of all, mediation within ourselves, which he introduced and introduces in his work. So I'm sure that there it will be something that you will also present at the IIT. Today's session is 1 hour long, so we will have some 30 to 40 minutes with introduction to his work of John, and then some
Kannst
15
du mir das Kissen geben, bitte?
some.
Das da.
Could you please mute yourself so that we can? Okay.
Yeah, can
So
we
we will
just
have some 15 to 20 minutes of questions at the end, whatever you're interested or you have some logistic or content.
Vesna, you went on mute somehow there?
Okay, here I am.
Yeah.
So I guess the last 15 to 20 minutes of this session is supposed to be for your questions, whatever comes up. logistic wise or content wise, please feel free to ask. We're here for that. So, not to hold too much of John's time, I'm just giving the word to you. Please, John.
Okay. Thank you, Vesna, and good to be here with all of you. Yeah, so let's say a few words about the work as I've developed it, and then maybe do something kind of experiential would be nice if a person or some people want to do that with me. So we just don't talk about it, but we kind of do something together. I'd love to do that if some of you are up for that, or at least one of you is up for that. Yeah. So I started with nonviolent communication close to 30 years ago now, which sounds like it sounds like a long time when I say it. And for about 20, almost 25 years, I've been focusing on NVC and mediation and conflict and resolving conflict. And I found that just by if knowing NVC doesn't oh, can we mute that one, Ina? Thank you. That knowing NVC doesn't mean necessarily one will be good with conflict. Yeah, maybe some of you experienced that at this point. By knowing NVC, you can still struggle quite a bit with conflict, or other people you see or know that have NVC skills but have trouble with conflicts in their lives. And I like to say too that to me, conflict isn't something that means something's gone wrong or shouldn't be that way. Not at all. Actually, the opposite. That I think conflict is something that has so much potential in it for good, like getting to better places. So I think it was like a portal to more of the life we want, more of the world we want, the relationships we want is through conflict, actually, right? So and there's a kind of a basic wisdom, right, in the adversities of life kind of leading to kind of to good things, right? If we have the way I think of it, the skills, the a kind of a structure and process to kind of help get us through that portal to those better places. And without it, right, as we know, conflict can be very destructive and damaging. In the extremes, it's just can be horrific violence. And so, yeah, conflict for good reasons. People often want to avoid it and feel scared by it or uncomfortable. And it triggers us into very deep, kind of primal parts of our nervous system and brain. And it doesn't feel very good, right? Our adrenaline and cortisol and all these, reactions get amped up that feel pretty bad often. So, yeah, a lot of people want to avoid it, or they react into it in a way that creates kind of the opposite of what they want. So it's been a long study for me. It's been really fascinating and challenging to sort of figure out how to understand the field of mediation, conflict resolution, and how NVC supports that and can take it much deeper and further. But to me, combining those two things has been really powerful, really helpful. Not just NVC, which is very powerful, but then if you want to be good at conflict, kind of have to know that territory, that field, that area of human experience. What do we human beings know about mediating through conflicts? Yeah. So my work has been through the years developing that. And then there's another aspect as well that I feel is really an important integration, which is mindfulness, awareness practice. Because without that, without a kind of conscious mindful awareness, then we don't have the same choice about responding differently. I would just repeat the same patterns we've learned to to maybe be safe, stay alive, but we're not necessarily creating what we want. So I think I've been fascinated by this capacity we humans have to be aware of our experience, to be aware of being aware. Yeah. And that seems like a really special um, skill, basically. And how that relates to the larger, consciousness. What is consciousness? And I'm fascinated by that. But to me, it all very practically relates back to conflict and how do we navigate conflict, and developing these skills around awareness and attention. And then lastly, trauma work. So I found that unless there's a pretty good understanding of trauma and pain and hurt that we carry, often from when we're young, or it could be in a current relationship that there's been some hurt involved there that makes the conflict more difficult to resolve. But there's so much wonderful knowledge and learning that's happening in the trauma healing space that I have realized more and more through the years how helpful that, because often when there is conflict, it brings out those traumatic feelings and reactions, right? Which can really make resolving things quite difficult, So that's my work really has been how these four different kind of areas of human study and knowledge, how do they go together to really be effective with the kind of conflicts and challenges and just difficult things we human beings deal with. So at the core of this work has been evolving and developing over many, many years. And over that time, what's evolved is what I call a 3-chair model. That the 3 chairs of mediation, the 2 sides, the 2 chairs kind of facing each other that are about any kind of, the 2 sides of a conflict. And then the third side, the mediator place, is to me not only a third person helping 2 people work through something, right? But I've been fascinated by what's the deeper meaning of these 3 chairs, these 3 perspectives. Sort of the first chair of our kind of our own sense of the conflict and reacting to it, and then the other side of the other, and then the third side. What does that represent inside of us, inside of each person, right? And to me, it represents our greatest capacities for love and wisdom, and our most evolved kind of abilities when it comes to connection, basically. And NVC is all about connection, but how to have that in conflict and in these really difficult places. So to me, this model of 3 chairs goes very, very deep. It goes very deep. And I keep learning about it. Even after all these years, I keep exploring these 3 chairs and what they really mean in deeper and deeper way. So that's kind of the essence of it. Over time, there's been these we call maps of different areas of conflict, different ways we can experience conflict internally and resolve it or transform through it. And then externally, different ways we can experience conflict with others on an external level. So there's sort of 10 basic maps of mediate your life. I don't know if I said that. Yeah. So the work for many years now is called Mediate Your Life. And so this map of these different areas of conflict, and then how to navigate different processes that we can use to help navigate those different areas of inner and outer conflict. So that's the essence of the work. How about I stop here, and I hope that gives you a little bit of an overview of what I do a lot of mediating with people in the world, helping people who are in conflicts. And I think well, I like to say being a guide. So I like this metaphor of being a guide up the mountain of conflict and getting to this vista at the top. Oh, I kind of have that in the background. Um, that we can learn how to be guides. I just love the metaphor that really we can know that territory very well of different paths up the mountain, and we can have a lot of training and the right equipment and really be a good guide for people. And they still have to do their work of hiking and doing their part to get up the mountain, but we can help them, we can guide them. Yeah, we can be a guide. So I do a lot of guiding people in conflicts in their life, and I do a lot of training and sharing this approach, this mediate your life approach, to helping people learn how to help others or how to help themselves, how to be a guide for themselves, how to be a guide for others. So I'll be sharing at the IIT lots and lots, or what we can do in that time of these different pieces of the training that I do, that I offer, and the work that I do. How about we see if we can do a little experiential something here? Does anybody have something that you wonder, how would it go into these chairs, these 3 chairs, this 3-chair model? Anybody curious to put something from your life into the chairs, I like to say. So
I'm very,
Luma.
yes, but I see there is someone else interested too, so I don't want to.
Well, you go first. What's going on in your world that you might like to work with?
I am working with someone since many years that I appreciate very much. And there is a lot of tension right now. A lot of tension, I think, related to my way of communicating, actually.
Okay.
And I try to do better, but it's too late. I guess I said something wrong, or I don't know how to. I know I have to be patient, but it's well. I think I'm in the heart of a potential conflict.
Okay. Yeah. Right. And sometimes that word conflict, people go, oh, I don't have any conflicts, but then there are plenty of places where there isn't the connection you'd want with certain people, right? Sounds like this is a person that there's some tension or friction or something that's not quite in harmony between you. Is this somebody in your work life or personal life, or
In my work life,
what?
but so I mean, it's a friend. You say
Okay.
it very well. Like it's not a conflict, but I mean, I'm not. I see the
Yeah.
rage and the resentment and okay, now it's a
Yeah.
professional relationship. Like it has always been a professional relationship, but
Yeah.
like I said something wrong. I did something
But
wrong.
you
I
got
know.
to be good friends. Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's been professional, but also very friendly and very lots of experiences and feelings towards each other. Yeah, okay.
it's an artistic
Okay.
world, so it's like every creative work is very personal. So.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Luma. So I do see it in the chat a few other people that might. So I like to just hear from different people. At least we get to hear, a little bit of each other's lives and struggles, and we can feel the common human experience of navigating life's
Cool.
challenges, and we're not alone in that. Yeah. So yeah, Luma, I'd like to just hear it. Carola, maybe is there still something you'd like to share and maybe work on?
Actually, if somebody is like more into that, I've done the 3 chairs exercise already. So if I can see that someone wrote that they are very, interested. So I can skip my part if
Okay.
that's okay.
Okay. Yeah. All right. How about Sage? Wanting to be a third. Okay, that was like being a third.
I mean, if you need a
Kerbel.
third person, if you
Yeah,
need,
yeah,
if you want
actually it
more
might.
people.
Might.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'd like to try to do something that's because I can just work with one person and guide them through a process in the chairs, but just me and one. But I like doing also three people practices, 3-person practice. So that'd be great, Sage. yeah, let's see if her.
That's me, Anne.
Yeah, Anne. Okay, yeah.
Can you see me? Do I need to put my hand up or
Yes.
something?
No,
Here.
no, I got you now.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I don't know if this will work, but it's it's something that's coming up for me a lot right now is when I'm in a dialogue with someone and don't I want to share, express from what they just said to me. So it's a conflict between whether to reflect what they just said to me or to express the impact on me and what I have to say. And it's like
Yeah.
very confusing.
How to do that, right? So I would call this how to mediate our own lives, how to mediate difficult relationships or situations in our own life, versus kind of helping someone else, right? So sounds like you're saying you have someone in mind, yeah, that you're having this trouble of how to communicate through something tense between you. Yeah.
Yeah, or just like I just had it in a circle this morning in a tea group that I was in, and someone shared how, what it's like for them to have lunch with their coworkers outside and what they're noticing in them and what they're talking about. And then instead of me reflecting what she said, I said, well, if I was out there, I would do this. I would like make empathy guesses at them and stuff. But then, do you understand? I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't reflect what she had said to me, like what she does.
Right.
And so it was
Yes.
it was very separating to me when I said that. It was like, ew,
Mhm.
like I didn't reflect what I didn't let her know that I heard what she said. I just went on and said what I would do.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So what I find is, what conflict makes communication particularly challenging, and if we can set up some kind of structure process where there's some agreement about we're going to do something maybe a bit different than normal conversation in order to work with this thing. Yeah. But yeah, then that helps resolve those questions about reflecting or not, or what to do, right? Having a structure that kind of supports the conversation. So how about we just let that question, I think, great question, and to kind of how to do that. And we can do a little example today of a way to structure things. So makes it easier to make those decisions or kind of track those choices. So let's go to I'm not good at following the chat.
Johnny, Parul also, she wrote
Yes,
there as well. Parul Sangwan.
Parul, yes, please.
Yeah, so my conflict is that um whenever I have something uncomfortable to say, like for example, if I want to say to my partner that I I am unsure sometimes about relationship. So I just tell myself instead that okay, let's wait, pause, and that moment pass. And when it passed, then I also enjoy. But then when it comes again, then I feel like, oh, I should like say this thing at least once because it's me only hearing this. So it's very difficult for me to have this kind of
To
uncomfortable.
have that kind of, yeah, uncomfortable conversation. Yeah, easy to avoid. Yeah, because it's
Yeah,
uncomfortable.
yeah.
Yeah. And then how to have the trust that if you do talk about it, it'll be a good conversation and not get more disconnected, and right, how to feel like the confidence about it. Is that right?
So it's like if I gonna talk, I feel like what if the other person, because he might get angry and then there will be like a huge tension, and then I don't know after that. Yeah.
Yeah, right, right. So all the reasons
Yeah.
why we shy away from from those conversations for good reason, right? Because those things can happen and things sometimes get worse when we talk about them and all that. Yeah. Yeah. So how to set things up and have develop skill that allows us to talk about those uncomfortable, difficult things, right? Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, all right. I also see
There's also Carol. She put a question in the chat. How do you deal
team
with
leaders.
how do you deal with a situation where the team leaders choose to leave you out of key field activities?
Okay, so another type of situation, right? You're in a team and you don't get included in some things you'd like to be included in. How do you deal? How do you talk about that? Right? Okay. And then Irina as well, want to share something?
A question from Irina. If there will be a chance, I'd like to share my future conflict to be.
You have a future one to be. Wow. Okay. You kind of know it's coming, huh? What's that one, Irina?
Hello, greetings from Ljubljana. I'm very sorry I joined a little bit late. I'm at work. So my inner conflict, which already is today I got my August schedule for work, and we have so many hours that makes me worry how am I gonna do this if I'm capable, because I'm afraid that my health won't allow it to me. And the conflict, which is about to reveal, is in the next days when I'm about to speak to my leader about this. And the main conflict inside me is I don't know how to put this in the words, because I'm still not so confident that I can just say, listen, I cannot work this much. I'm tired. I'm afraid that my health will not allow it. You have any ideas? Thank you and goodbye from ICU.
Okay, thank you for another type of situation, right? How to deal with that. Yeah. Okay, well, given the time is flying by and we'll run out of time soon, I'm yeah, there's kind of a I'd love to work with all these situations. They just all sound great to work with, and would be happy to. Um, Luma, when you talked about yours at the beginning, there's something about the way you talked about it. I just kind of had a sense that one actually might be good to work on just with the limited time that we have. Is that something you'd like to do?
Yes, I'm just thinking because I think it's recorded. So if that's okay, I don't say, the names or things like this, but
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you can keep whatever details private you want. That's fine. Okay, and let's see, whoever, Ina, if you're doing the hosting, if you can put me, if start with Luma and then Sage and then me. Yeah, so that I'll be at the bottom of the screen.
John, just for
And
clarity, I haven't done this before. I had meant to be volunteering to share a situation, but I'm willing. I have training in NVC, but just so you know.
Okay. And
I'm
while
willing.
things are getting set up, did you want to share your situation just to say it?
Oh, well, thank you. I think the biggest one is my mom, who's aging with cognition deterioration, and she needs to be in assisted living and isn't emotionally ready for that.
Yeah.
So she's having
Oh,
a
that's
hard
a big
time,
one.
right? And how might this
Yeah. Right. Then the conflicts with siblings, and then how to relate to the parent who's, in that place that your mom is. Yeah, wow. Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So the way I like to mediate it, well, we can have this structure. Yeah, these three chairs, and And then what I like, and so these three perspectives, the first chair, second chair, third chair, and when being with each of the two chairs, that this is something I was going to mention earlier. So for me, I've loved to explore how the four components of nonviolent communication are both language, observation, feeling, need, request, but also different levels of awareness, kind of observing of the mind, awareness of mind, and then body awareness. And then need awareness is to me like the universal, kind of opening, expanding awareness to be kind of the whole field of connection we can feel. And then the request being kind of that loving kindness action that flows from that connectedness. So I like to be with one person at a time and just kind of guide through those layers. That's both language and kind of awareness. And if we start with you, Luma, let's give can we say just who the other is in relation to you? Who is Sage playing? Is she you said a coworker, right? If I remember back, yeah.
Yes.
Somebody you work
But
with. Somebody you work with.
coworker, it's
Okay,
like I would say binôme.
Very close. Yeah. Okay. So that's who you are, Sage. And just play the role however it comes to you. Just be whatever spontaneously appears in your consciousness to as you kind of tune into being this person. So Luma, in this moment, what would you like coworker to hear, or what would you just like to say? You know, what have you perceived, or what's your experience in your mind about what's difficult, what you really want understanding about?
Well, what is difficult is I can't really undo what I potentially did or said that, and when it's creative work, you need to be able to express yourself kind of. So I feel that I hurt. I did not use the proper words, and it touched. It hurt the person, which I didn't mean to. And now it's too, like, the person doesn't want to talk to me. Like, it's, I mean, it's
Okay,
very,
so
yeah, I can't force someone to communicate. Like,
okay, so then when you were talking to her, so her is the
no,
person, her, him.
yeah,
So when you were talking to him, that you used some words that kind of triggered a reaction that you
yeah.
can't take back, and you didn't intend that to happen, but it did in this creative kind of space that you're in, and you said some things. Yeah. So right now it sounds like you're sort of thinking on, like, yeah, what you said, how this person reacted, and yeah. And how do you, if you'd like to, anything about how that is for you in your body right now, like any emotions, sensations right now?
I feel a little stuck, like the shoulders are very high and very tensed. And the neck also is a brick of wall.
Yeah. So
I feel
neck and
very
shoulder.
bad, and at the same time, it's not about apology. I mean, I can apologize. I kind of did, but it's
Hmm.
not the
So
point. It's like,
you feel really bad, yeah? And so is it a kind of sadness, kind of a grief almost
oh yeah,
of sadness? Yeah.
yes, because I feel I lost the trust.
So that gets down into the need level. Yeah. That just sort of wanting there to be trust between you and sort of thinking you've lost it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So before we go more into your needs, is there just anything when you say this, when we talk about this sadness, this grief in you, is there any like any sensations in your body related to that? You talked about your neck and shoulders. Any other when you talk about the grief and the sadness?
I'm just like I'm feeling like maybe like the knees trying to relax, but I especially think about the what you were saying about the portal I'm feeling the need of opening the face that there's a possible portal to something, because you were talking about growth, and I feel that potential.
Okay. So you sort of feel that potential for maybe something creative, something good that could happen from talking about this in a certain way. Yeah. But it's part of it is trust, wanting there to be trust. What's the trust in? Is it the trust of care for each other, the trust of mattering? What's the trust?
Well, it's on the creative part. It has to be free. It has to be possible to be true, to be honest, on what is good or not good, true or not true.
So this is maybe giving some feedback about something and wanting to be honest and true, but also the trust that there's care, there's connection around it. Am I hearing it right?
Yes, I'm just feeling like a closed door,
Yeah. Okay. The sense there's a door closed and you're wanting this openness to possibility and what could get created between you.
Yes, but I feel the message is respect the closed door. That's the strange thing, right? You can't force trust.
Okay. So that's your sense of him, like kind of wanting to close the door and want to that respected. But just in staying with you, it sounds like you want this, you're kind of hoping for this opening of possibility. And what else does that look like for you? If there's this open door and trust, then what does that lead to?
The product. I mean, it's horrible to say it this way, but like I see a really beautiful work of art that is possible.
Right. So this kind of creating a beautiful work of art. You're really wanting that. Yeah. Okay. So there's probably a lot more we could do with your experience, but just with the time we have. How is it just to name that, to get to that right now and name this beautiful work of art that you really
I feel my body. Sorry, I interrupted you, but I feel my body is ready to elongate a little bit.
Okay. So having said this and imagining this person is right there, this person that you want to create this with, this beautiful art. What would you like from this person right now? They're right there, they're listening, and do you want to know what they heard? If this person heard you the way you want to be heard, or how it is for this person to hear you right now, anything you'd like back from them in terms of being understood?
I don't even know if I need to be understood. I want an open door. Like I want to keep working. Like can we keep working?
Keep working on communicating and understanding each other like that?
On the work of art.
Or working on the art. Oh, you want to work? Yes, you want to just work on the art together. Okay, so that's really what you're hoping for can happen. In terms of just what you've said, is there anything you just want to know if the person's open to that right now, hearing you?
The person is open for that in words. But I see a very intensely closed door, which limits the creative work.
Okay, so maybe are you wanting to know if that's true, if that there is a kind of closed door and how that door is doing right now, hearing you and what you're saying? Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that what you want to know?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go to this other person who you do this creative work with. And yeah, so do you want to speak to that is there a kind of closed door for you, and how open or not is that, and how is it for you to hear what Luma is saying? Yeah, any response you have?
Yes. I noticed that at the beginning, I definitely felt this closed door. I felt in the body when I heard it, and hearing it as a male also, somehow that was different for me. And I had some of it was, there was like a resentment toward Luma, and there was and also wanting to have care with how I communicate with her, just aware of, male, female power differentials, what have you. I felt stymied, and I was thinking, this is mine to deal with. I will come back to her when I'm ready, but I need to process everything coming up for me. And then when I heard, and my body felt stiffness, Luma, when I heard, is it okay to talk to Luma directly? Luma, is it okay to talk? Yeah. When I heard the grief, the door opened for me. Like I felt my heart opened, and that barrier was gone. I felt I was with you in a feeling, and I felt compassion. And then there was some talk going back that I started to close again, and then I opened again when I heard about this desire for the creativity. Like you want this creativity and the portal, you want this portal to open, and there's this big possibility. And I want that too. I really want that too. I feel grateful hearing about your grief, and I don't know that I could go into the possibility without hearing the grief, because before that it just felt like a push, and I was like, I need some respect here. I have a boundary, and I'm not blaming you for it. I just need to process my own stuff about it. Give me space. And I didn't want to tell you that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So let's go back to Luma. And yeah, in terms of sort of feeling understood and connected with what you said, how are you right now hearing what
It's
the
totally
other
that. I
said?
don't even know how she did that. I'm pretty impressed, I must say. Because when you said, okay, you're the other person, I was like, how can she do this? And she's totally incredible. I'm very impressed.
Yeah.
Now, I'm also noticing, like, I'm not expressing my grief at all, I guess, because it's a work situation. I don't know. It is true. I mean, the way you talk about the expression of the grief, I don't see how I could express that.
And I perceive that as a closed door on your side.
Yes.
I'm just like going like, it's like you're pushing at my door. I'm like, it's like,
Wow. So there's something very connecting to hear about the emotion, the grief, not just the pushing for the door to open, but the revealing some vulnerability and deeper emotion. Yeah, that would really help this other person.
It brought tears to my eyes when I reflected it back to you.
Okay, well, how about
I couldn't feel my own emotion of grief. I couldn't feel my own emotion of grief until you had shared yours. I was just locked, trying to have a boundary.
Right. But then you could feel the grief too. Yeah. Well, beautiful. Just, we just have this little bit of time. And so let me just say what we could do if we had the time as a practice. Yeah. So there's a way you can do this with the real people, right? But then just as a practice, it can be so powerful. If we kept going, I would give a chance for Sage as this other person to, if he was any more you wanted to share, maybe that was it. And then to do a little debrief and then rotate. So Luma, if you wanted to, then you could become the other person and Sage takes the mediation role, and I move into your role, Luma, and we keep going. And then you get to kind of really be in the place of the other and kind of have that experience. And then the last rotation could be you sit in the mediator chair, Luma, and Sage and I play out the two sides of you and this person, and you get to witness it from that place and be present and have the experience of being in the third chair, of holding you and the other from this third chair place. And then also that leading into some solutions and what you could do to move forward, you know. So anyways, that would be if we had the time. Luma, how was it for you to do this, to put this into the chairs, even this little bit of time?
It's incredible. I'm very impressed. I'm just feeling bad because I realized finally it's me who has to, and I really don't know how I'm going to do this in a work situation. I really don't know. I'm not feeling like I have a solution, but I'm very impressed by what you guys revealed to me.
Yeah,
Thank
so you don't quite know how to do it, but you have an insight of something that could open the door about expressing some of your sadness about this. Yeah, somehow, right? So that goes to other people's questions too. How do you kind of set up those conversations that can really be healing and supported kind of somehow, right? But this gives a little taste maybe of the kind of structure, the kind of process that can support this connection and using NVC, but in a little bit more of a structured way that just kind of goes to these deeper places. So let's go to Sage real quick. And how was it for you, Sage, to channel this other person? It seemed like you felt something very real and powerful there.
I loved it, and I noticed that I had to change my body stance, like so that I was I had to really become this guy, and I'm always astounded with the chairs thing, with the role play. I'm always astounded at how, because at the beginning I was nervous. I was like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? But it just happens somehow. It just happens. It's a beautiful structure. Thank you, John. Thank you, Uma.
And role playing can be so powerful, right? Just because as a practice, you know, there's all this insight and connection that opens up as a role play practice, and then that can inform Luma in however you move forward from this place. It's something's different. You have more insight, more felt sense of something different having done this as a role play. So thank you both so much. I really love doing that.
Thank
and
you,
if we could take off the spotlights and go back to the gallery view here. All right, everyone. So there might be some comments or questions about what we did, or there could be just things about the IIT in general. But how about we open it with the about 10 minutes we have to hear from others, especially if you haven't spoken yet, you want to say something or ask something. What you observed, what stood out for you, or anything. Have you seen that there's some silence, grief, and any conflict along with joy of connection? Yeah, Martha, both. Sure. Yeah. Christina.
Hi, thanks. And I wanted to ask a question. You mentioned that you do the like inner mediation as well. And if you use three-tier technique, do I get it right that you would have like two parts of person who do not get together enough well at this point, and then you mediate in the same way like with the external people?
Yes, exactly. So let's say if Luma was really more in conflict with herself about what happened, maybe there is a level of that we could have even explored. Yeah. So then there would be part of her in the first chair and another part of her in the second chair. And Sage could have played this other part of Luma instead of the other person in the situation, right? Or it could just be Luma plays both, plays one part of herself, and then she speaks from the other part of her. So it can be either way, but yeah. And then, but the idea that Luma could learn how to be the third chair that is giving empathy to both parts of herself. Yeah, she can sort of be those parts, but she can also be this sort of larger self that can give empathy to the parts.
And would you also rotate in the similar way?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Wow.
So that
Interesting.
she could play in both chairs, and that if there are three people, everybody's rotating around, but yeah, on an inner level of parts, inner parts. Yeah.
Thank you. Very interesting, exciting.
Yeah, the inner work is really powerful because that goes even deeper inside, and then that influences how we can show up on the outside. Yeah. Thank you, Christina.
Thank you.
Anne.
Yeah, thanks. I noticed that you didn't ask, after Luma shared, you didn't ask Sage to reformulate what she heard Luma say. And that's the way I've been seeing mediation.
Right.
I'm in the beginnings of learning it, but so I was wondering if that you don't do that, or
Well, I'm so glad you picked up on that, Anne, because yeah, that's been a pretty new development in the mediation, basic kind of steps of the mediation. In the past, up until recently, yes, that was the second step after empathy. And now I do not so much as in a mediator role, not like just reflecting back what I'm hearing, but really guiding people through. You may have noticed I was asking Luma these questions about, what she's observing in her mind, how she's feeling in her body, what is she saying about her needs. I'm more like kind of inviting her to explore and asking her what her words are for these things, and then I'm reflecting that. So anyways, I was guiding her, and then I asked what she wanted.
Right, but I'm talking about when you went to Sage.
I know. Yeah, I'm just leading up to that. Okay. So then that's the first step. The second step in the past would have been, I go to Sage's character and I ask them to reflect back what they heard. Yeah. Now the way I do it, that I feel is so much better and I love it, is to ask the first person, ask Luma, what is it you'd like from this other person? Do you want them to say what they heard, or do you want something else? And she actually wanted something else. She didn't just want it reflected back. She wanted to know about the door and how the person was feeling about that, right? That's what she wanted to know, right? So now I just ask what the person wants, and then when the other person does respond in whatever way, then I track back to the Luma in this case, and how was it for you? Do you feel understood? Do you feel the connection you wanted, right? And then she could say yes or no, or right. But yeah, it's different. Sometimes people want the other person to say what they heard. Sometimes they want something different. So I love giving people that choice. It feels really way better than me deciding for the person what is going to happen with person B.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we could do both.
Well, yeah, I give them the option. I, say, do you want them to reflect back? Do you want to know how it is for them? Right. And then, but I really trust that they can say what they want. And then maybe they didn't get understood the way they want. Like, no, I don't feel understood. Oh, okay. So maybe next time you would want them to reflect back. Yeah. But letting them kind of learn from experience what they would like in terms of, we call it in NVC, the connection request. Yeah. What is their connection request of the other person having spoken, instead of me deciding for them what the connection request is. Yeah. So that's a new development for me. And I really love, it kind of opens up things in this, I think, really helpful way. But I'm glad you picked up on that. Borania.
Brianna, yes, Boriana. Thank you. First of all, thank you for modeling this. I imagine regarding Anne's question that it may also depend on the intensity of the situation and the relationship. And in this given situation, the intensity, it was a role play. It wasn't a real conflict with two people. Would you use the same approach if two people are really in a very intensive, unpleasant emotional state,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
imagine that I would reflect and they would talk through me, not directly to each other. Do you use this approach, or you leave them communicating freely and you intervene whenever it's possible, or I don't
No,
know?
I do what I did with Luma. What I did with Luma, where I really was working with her while the other person was like witnessing, right? I was really like guiding and accompanying Luma through those levels of her experience. Yeah, observation, feeling, need. And yes, just really being with her, me and her that way. And then, though, asking after, what does she want now with the other? How to connect what she's saying to the others listening and responding, and what would she like in relation to the other person? How would she like them to respond to what she just said? Yeah. So it's both. It's this me really being with the person, almost like in a coaching. I'm coaching one person at a time through the levels of experience, and then I'm asking them how they, about what they'd like from each other, right? And then ultimately we get to the solution request, but that's like a separate phase for me of the kind of mutual understanding to then agreements and how the people want to meet their needs together. So I see Stefan's hand, but we're about to run out of time. Stefan, let me go back to Vesna and Ina. Is there anything else you want to say logistically for this group about the IIT?
Yeah, we can finish with Stefan's question. And before that, Ina just posted in the chat for all the questions that you might have. You may visit the CNVC site about the registration. What you saw today is just a glimpse of John's work. And I've attended many of his trainings, and I really can say it's a different level of understanding, which cannot be perceived through words or through the mental part of our brain. It's really something that you dive into with your whole soul, and the whole system is just in a different state. And this is something that you can really experience in the 9 days of the IIT. So if you have any wish to attend it, please do so. Please register so that we will have enough participants. You have all the information in the chat. Ina posted it there. And before saying goodbye with Stefan's question, thank you all for attending. I see that also Suda attended and Iris. And thank you, John, for your really openness to share your knowledge. And now, please, Stefan.
Yes, thank you. So I already signed up as an early registration, and I absolutely hope you will have enough people so that it really takes place. And I just wanted to understand whether this kind of like practical role play, it almost has the elements of improv theater, actually. Whether this will be kind of like the core building block of what you guys, or at least you as one of the people hosting it, will do. Because to me, this is really, and at least to me, it would be one of the key elements that we are like constantly in situations and practicing. And even if it is improvisation, because we don't know the situation of the other, I think there is so much to learn. So that would be, although already registered and paid, really interesting for me to know. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. There'll be, for me, a fair amount of this, different ways of being in the 3 chairs and role playing, and then also just guiding people just themselves without role playing. So there's with role playing, there's without role playing, and guiding people through the chairs. There's going to be all of that I'll offer as much as I can in the sessions that we have available to offer things as trainers. I'll offer different parts of the work, giving a pretty good taste of the different aspects of it. Yep. Okay, thanks, Stefan, for that. Thanks, everybody, for your time, for being here. I hope to see you at the IIT. I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be a wonderful place and wonderful experience that we can all be together at this time of like all that's happening in the world, that we can come and be doing this kind of thing that I feel is crucial for us human beings to learn how to relate this way. So I hope to see you there.
Thank you, John, and thank you, Ina, for technical support, and hopefully see you in Slovenia in October. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.